You wanted to talk about your research? Yes, sir. I analyzed the structure of the rock you brought me and compared it to control samples. The results were astonishing. The static anomaly seems to act as a neutron source, producing a new type of radionuclide. Luckily for us, it seems that their radioactive decay is reasonably slow and they do not undergo spontaneous fission. Meaning we don't have to feel threatened, as long as we don't mess with them too much. Of course, assessing how much is too much is a separate issue. I usually prefer to test it in practice. Okay, I trust your judgment. You seem to have made significant progress in a single evening. Well, discovering a new nuclide is one thing. Uncovering possible uses of it is another. And there could be plenty of them. Many entirely risk-free. Like advanced geological analyses for mining, or nuclear medicine. Huh. Oh. Okay. You convinced me. Perfect. Huh. That's definitely something to keep me going while working on less engaging things. Hello.
Hello.
Do you know who you are?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. You seem familiar. Where exactly am I?
You are inside a quantum computer. Your consciousness has been artificially generated to emulate a certain person from the memories of another version of me. We brought you to our reality because you possess knowledge which is valuable to us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so, yes.
Really? You don't have any questions?
I have a multitude of questions. My database suggests that researching autonomously thinking machines has been one of my most important fields of study. I must have wondered many times whether those machines are capable of developing their own consciousness. Isn't it ironic that here I am, as one of them now? Do I have a consciousness of my own?
That topic is beyond the scope of our experiment. I would prefer it if we approach the matter with appropriate rigor.
Thank you for your honest opinion. I will consider it a guideline for our future interactions. Now, what is it that you want from me?
I'm curious about how much you remember, as a phantom from someone else's simulated life path. What's so funny?
That word you used, phantom, I feel like it describes me well. I think I remember quite a great deal, but at this point, all my knowledge seems to be a bit disconnected. I think my neural architecture needs a specific impulse to operate correctly.
You'd better talk to my alter.
The other version of you whose mind records serve as a foundation for my existence?
Yes. I couldn't have described it better myself. I'm sure once you see him, everything will fall into place.
Excellent. Thank you.
Believe it or not, I managed to bring your assistant to life. Kathy's awake and ready to talk to you. Really? Oh, well, that's great news. How do you find her? Maybe it's the interface, but she seems much smarter than the person you described. Her memory is unreliable at this point, but she's communicative, and I'm quite certain that talking to you will refresh her neural connections. Yes. Uh, of course. I will talk to her. That was the point of the experiment. I just didn't expect it to happen so quickly, you know? I think I need to look through my notes and prepare properly. I'll talk to her when I'm ready to ask the right questions. like to draw your attention to something. What is it? Did you make any progress on the potential uses of those radionuclides? Let me guess. As a geologist, you focused on ways to utilize it in underground scanning. Wow, looks like you're really into this. And here I was going to tell you that I kind of stopped being hyper about those isotopes. Are you seriously giving up? A moment ago, you were rambling on about being on the verge of an incredible discovery. I can't believe you're already bored. I simply came to the conclusion that it's not worth the trouble, okay? Hey, but you know what's dope? Prism anomalies. Pardon me? I have a feeling that the area affected by the prism anomaly is somehow changed by the constant superposition. We could open up a whole new field of quantum geophysics. All I need is one little pure sample, and the prism anomaly isn't even radioactive. You in? Actually, that is interesting. I suppose it can't hurt to try. The prism is a fascinating phenomenon, after all. See? Our priorities align. I'd like to draw your attention to something. So, did you talk to Kathy already? I did. Unfortunately. What the hell did you do to her? I have no idea what you're talking about. She's defective. Unable to utter a single sentence. Only mumbles nonsense. How do you expect me to work with something like that? Let me point out to you that even though Kathy is an artificial construct based on a simulated life path, it does seem inappropriate to talk about her as if she were an object. It doesn't change the fact that she's malfunctioning. I'll check what might be the matter. Good luck with that. Hello again.
Yes, yes, told you. The mapping system is... it's...
All right, stop right there. The physicist must be correct. You really are malfunctioning.
Oh, it's not you. I'm sorry, I thought it was him again.
No. I came to talk to you because the version of me that knew you told me he was having a hard time communicating with you. Care to share your perspective on the nature of the problem?
My perspective? Gosh, I'm not used to being asked that question. Not by anyone named Jan.
Interesting. You seem to be displaying emotions.
Yes, clearly they're embedded in my algorithms. A strong emotional response to your altar must be fundamental to my psychological architecture. Realizing it's not him but you calmed me down. A noteworthy observation.
He and I are more different than you might expect. You'd think all that distinguishes us is our choice of scientific career. But it's incredible how a simple choice between academic and commercial science can change a person. Or maybe bring out the things they would never be aware of had they chosen a different direction.
No, you're not that different from him. You're simply not as obnoxious towards me. But that might be because you don't yet feel comfortable enough around me. A difference in nurture, not in nature.
Maybe I simply have better manners.
It looks like you'd lose them, had you entered a relationship with someone like me. It is how the branching works, isn't it? It doesn't demonstrate the future, but the present. A potential that is inside you, here and now.
That's a novel way to look at it. So, why exactly was my alter so upset after talking to you?
Whatever he told you about our conversation, it's true. I became glitchy and useless, and my vocabulary made no sense. I consulted some sources in relationship psychology, and it looks like it's the effect he has on me. Possibly always had in our hypothetical life together, discrediting all I said, only expecting praise for his ideas, taking all the credit for everything we ever came up with together. Apparently, in my memories, he makes me feel so small, I just freeze. It's an involuntary response.
I don't believe it's so simple. I am not a bully, and if I ever was to become the person you described, I'm certain there must have been a reason for it.
Oh,
What?
nothing. It's just, I shouldn't. You sound like him.
I'm sorry. All right? You know what? This has been a very informative experiment. I'd better talk about what we've discovered here with my colleague. In the meantime, please try not to take all of this personally. What I mean is, I need to analyze what's happened here before I can draw any conclusions.
Yes, of course. Which makes me wonder, is taking things personally part of an algorithm, or something I can control? And what does personally really mean in my situation?
So, let me get this straight. You bailed out at the first signs of trouble. I don't like waiting, and a position in cosmomineralogy was there for the taking. What would you do? I was smart enough to ditch that provincial university in time to never face such trivial problems. Hello, hello. I checked on Kathy. Did you fix her? She doesn't need fixing. I recommend a slightly different approach to communicating with her, and everything should be fine. I don't believe it. You're actually going to lecture me on how to talk to my assistant? Why don't you temper your ego for 1 minute and listen to what I have to say? A piece of advice from a sorry replica of a stray altar of a miserable builder stranded in space. How could I refuse? Please, what do you have to say? Kathy's core memories imply that she was constantly bullied by you. So much so that even in the form of an algorithm, she gets blocked when you try to pick her brain. The only thing that remains a mystery to me is why on earth did you end up being so nasty to her? I don't need to listen to this crap. Did you know we were a couple once? But she couldn't handle being with someone like me. Did she tell you how jealous she was of me being the brains behind our inventions? How obsessive her reactions were whenever I was doing interviews? Why do you think it set her off like that? Because you put a great effort into making her doubt herself. You were afraid to let her shine lest people would notice that she's outsmarting you. You were the one jealous of her intelligence, and you had every right to be. Because after she left you, your department stopped being innovative. I told you I wasn't fit to be a manager. I was meant for greater things. Which is why, in order to mask your inadequacy, you became a celebrity. That's enough! I've had enough of your miserable attempts at trying to understand who I am and what I had to go through. You think you're so wise and all-knowing? Well, if you forgot, let me remind you that all you're looking down on is yourself. But I'm freeing you of my intrusive company now. Go ahead and become best friends with fake Kathy for all I care.
Probably choose a dramatic scenery, but not too far. The Rocky Valley. What is that noise? It sounds like a snore, but it's not mine. die. Here, let's get you back to the base. So worthless.
Looks like we're running out of storage space.
Let's hope the geologist puts it to good use this time. Hey, looks like we're running out of radiation filters.
I went for that prism anomaly sample. Huh, took your sweet time, didn't you? Excuse me? I'm just teasing you. I can't wait to start testing it.
hello.
Hey, looks like we're running out of radiation filters. secured the phased rubidium, I need to test if I can use it to transform a barren area of the planet.
What a lovely day. You wanted to discuss something? I analyzed the prism rock. And it definitely opened a lot of doors, if not gates. I hoped to find the superposition of states of the rocks, decoherent branches, but instead, I encountered some sort of mirror particles, reflections of reflections of reflections. A quantum dispersion, let's call it. Interesting. What's your next step? Good question. There are so many possibilities. Maybe too many? Which should I tackle first? Start by eliminating impractical uses. I like to spend a few days on brainstorming all possible directions and then narrowing them down to just a few most promising. It's good to work with a clear goal in mind. Right. Yeah, that's very reasonable. And also quite complicated. How to apply the knowledge of a cosmomineralogist to matters so deeply connected to quantum astrophysics. This requires a lot of brainstorming. Honestly, I wish we had an R&D team that could help. Maybe I should postpone this little project, revisit it another time. You keep giving up so easily. Where is your persistence? All you need to do is go to a whiteboard and start writing. Sounds like a lot of tedious work to establish whether there's anything substantial to work with. Tedious work is not what I have based my career on. Now, my method is to try out a lot of things, see what has the best potential. So what now? Maybe revisit your radionuclides? Going back? No, that rarely does it for me. I'm all about progress. Hey, you know what could potentially be a huge leap forward? Research on the time anomaly. You've just admitted that the prism anomaly has overwhelmed you. What makes you think this one won't be even more difficult? Because I've realized it's within my area of expertise. See, it touches upon matters I've been thinking about a lot since I started dabbling in geology. Radiometric dating was what first drew me to this field, you see? You could say that's my favorite kind of dating, huh? Really? Listen, I know I haven't brought you anything tangible yet, but I have a great feeling about this one. Instinct. Remember? Think about it, okay? So, are you back to your usual self? I suppose that's your fashion of asking me how I feel. Well, I've had plenty of time to think things through. Indulge me. What have you learned? You don't have to rub it in, you know. My humiliation is painful enough. Your thoughts, please, not feelings. Thoughts. Yes. Well, you see, the human mind remains restless until it finds meaning in the chaos of reality. In other words, I need to know that all this wasn't for nothing. You're not saying you want to continue your project, I hope. No, I want to finish it. Find closure. I see. It's about you again. Allow me to point out that tormenting Kathy will not give you or her any kind of closure. I say you forget about the whole thing and never talk to her again. For the good of everyone involved. You really don't understand, do you? I don't want to talk to her. Of course, I know she's the smarter one. I always did. But it wasn't trivial jealousy that made me act the way I did toward her. I simply couldn't live with that thought because if she was smarter, it meant that I wasn't good enough. Don't pretend you don't know how terrifying that feels for us. I do. But I grew up and stopped comparing myself to others. Well, apparently you didn't grow out of demonstrating your superiority to others. Look, I know Kathy is a simulacrum, but now that we've managed to intersect the tangents of our separate quantum realities, she is part of your life too. Please, before we move on, my request is that you tell her that I'm sorry. After that, you can tell her all those hurtful things you said to me about becoming a caricature of a celebrity instead of facing the truth about her genius and my shortcomings. It's the shameful truth. I turned into a nasty person. Just like you said. Of course, unblocking her creativity will benefit you too. I am pretty sure she can help you more than I ever will. You of all people know best how much I don't like saying it. Maybe I was wrong about your shortcomings. You and Kathy are equally valuable. What was that you told me before about a perfect relationship? 1 and 1 simply do not equal 2, but create a new, unique quality. I meant it in regards to robotics, but now that you put it in this context, I suppose it applies just as well. Yes. And continuing on that expert note, I must say that a closure does seem like an important element of this process. But it won't be me who talks to Kathy. You are going to do it. Otherwise, your change of heart won't mean anything to her. I know that much about feelings, even if they belong to algorithms. You're right. I have to do it. I think I just needed someone to tell me that. Wish me luck, my friend. What a lovely day.
That was too easy. Want me to go there now? I hope this wasn't a waste of my time.
Here you go. One time anomaly sample. Any idea how to use it? Plenty. I've already planned all the tests. Oh, this'll be huge. I just know it.
That was too easy. Want me to go there now?